Alright guys, we're back again with some more Discord Cup matches. This is round of 64. We've got SirLargeness versus Kakita Minto. Looks like Crane versus Scorpion. And so we just got opening flops. So SirLargeness buys Manipulator. Minto is disconnected, so hopefully reconnects. Minto probably will buy Brash Samurai and Savvy Politician, or Samurai and Asami. Not a great flop from the Crane player. You'd prefer a different 2-drop with Brash Samurai since he can already honor himself. There we go, he's back. I'm trying to find a co-caster right now. I think Kingsley said he might cast with me. Alright, so Scorpion player buys Liar, and then the Crane player does buy both his 2s. Scorpion passes first with 5 Fate. Runs in a Manicured Garden with the Manipulator and a military attack. So, pretty easy defense with the Samurai and then Honor for first action. Gains a Fate from Seeker of Air. With 5 Fate on military, you know, normally when Scorpion have a lot of Fate after Dynasty phase, you have to worry about Kachiko. But Kachiko, with no Fate on her, is just not a good investment, and in a military conflict. So, we're looking at not defending with the Samurai, going with the Politician instead. So, Minto defends with Politician, so it's 1-1 right now. Let's see what's going to happen. Obviously, both... Oh, okay, so SirLargeness bids 6, it looks like? Oh, because of Manipulator, yeah. So they both bid 5, and then Largeness went up to 6. So it looks like it was a policy debate. Just an aggressive policy debate, a 5-5 bid. Revealing Fate Worse Than Death, double Kachiko. Oh wow, triple Kachiko. Double charge for Shame, Let Go. A Fury and a Meek Informant. That is a really strong hand by the Scorpion player. So, makes him discard the Fury. It's like Fury or Fate Worse Than Death, I would assume, for this. Let Go's not as strong against Crane. The problem is that obviously Crane does have counter spells, but you know, they get overtaxed in a matchup like this where there's just a ton of events you need to cancel. So here's the charge for Hero A. He's gonna hook the Brass Samurai in, and then the Brass Samurai won't be able to honor itself. This is going slightly poorly for the Crane player. Let's see what's gonna happen. Korean players going in the tank right now. Pass or uses storehouse to draw a card. Hero he pulls Brash Samurai. So I'm trying to figure out what the Korean player can do to, because even if he wins this conflict, what'll happen is the Scorpion's gonna get a free attack. I'm gonna quickly pull up the deck lists, see what the splash of the Crane player is. Oh, okay, so this is a Lion Splash for the Crane. We have 2 Ready for Battle, 2 Stand Your Ground, and 2 Legion of 1. So, a couple more military buffs that normally aren't seen out of the Crane players. Obviously, Legion of 1 won't help him here. So, Forshaden gets played. Crane chooses to bow. Because if you dishonor, Brash Samurai goes to 0 stats anyway. So, we know the Scorpion player's hand. So, if the Scorpion player wants to win this, just absolutely wants to win, they can always Fate Worse Than Death on the Savvy Politician. But, other than that, they're really out of plays here in terms of buffs. So, if the Crane player plays a single military buff here, the Scorpion player probably is just going to pass and just take the victory of pulling the Brash Samurai and not letting it get honored. Let's see if I can get anybody to cast with me. Alright, so Test Your Skill gets played. We're naming event, since all these Crane decks are just a ton of events. Gets Stand Your Ground and Admit Defeat, discarding a political rival. Probably. Oh, wow, okay, so this version of the Crane list is not playing Steward of Law. It is playing 2 Young Harriers, no Steward of Laws, and then it's playing 3 Kakita Blazes as only attachments, going up to 33 events. These calling in favors and let goes are going to be sorely disappointed that they don't have any targets. Alright, I did find a co-caster.
Howdy.
Alright, cool. So we got Kingsley on co-caster duty. If you want, the game is on Jigoku. The password is CUP.
Cup?
Yeah, just all lowercase CUP.
Right.
Still on turn 1, Crane vs. Scorpion, first conflict.
Sounds good. Is this Minto versus SirLargeness?
Yep.
Right.
Alright, so Kingsley's joined. Just to catch you up real quick, so turn 1 went Manipulator 1, pass, Brash Samurai into Liar, then he bought Politician, and so Scorpion passed first. Scorpion got policy debated and revealed triple Kachiko. It was triple Kachiko, double charge, a For Shame, a Fury, a Let Go, and a Fate Worse Than Death. And so the Crane player took the Fury, kind of resigning his fate to dealing with the Kachikos. And then on this attack here, the Scorpion player charged Hero A to pull Brash Samurai.
Interesting.
Okay.
Is this a cup game?
This is indeed a cup game. This is a top 64 match.
So they know each other's decks.
Yep, Decklists are out. So this Crane player is on a Lion Splash.
Interesting.
Which is, the splash was 2 Stand Your Ground, 2 Ready for Battle, and 2 Legion of 1. The Crane player is also on only 3 attachments total, being 3 Kakita blades.
Wow, that's wild.
Yeah, so they're on very few attachments, which helps them because the Scorpion player is on Dragon Splash right now. So the Crane player kind of was forced to play an Assassination there because of the Hero A play, and then not having your honored Brash Samurai kind of hurts. I suspect the Kachiko turn here from the Scorpion player. What do you think? You think you just want to get her on the table as fast as possible, right?
I mean, if you have 3 of them, I think you really do want to get that out there. Looking at the Dynasty discard, Asami is a pretty good target for the Sora actress.
Oh, that's true. That's pretty sick, actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so Largeness passes after buying Liar, so 100% a Kachiko turn.
Yeah, so obviously his plan is going to be to play Kachiko with some Fate on her, and then next turn use those dupes from hand, which kind of stinks. I always think dupes from Conflict hand are a little weak.
Yeah, because it's basically taking a draw, right? Like it's a card you could have drawn.
Yeah, that's right. But at the same time, if you're playing 3 Kachiko and you see all 3, it is worth doing it. And you just have to kind of accept your opponent's going to pass before you 1 turn.
Now, when you play it, how much Fate do you play her with? Like, because you have the dupes. Obviously, you have to play her with at least 1. Do you play 1 or 2?
I don't know. I think it depends on the overall situation. We know that Crane doesn't have Fate Worse Than Death since he's on the Lion Splash, which means that he doesn't have to worry about that. If the Void Ring is still out and there's a chance that he'll lose it, I would do 2 just to be sure.
That sounds right.
And I would, because I think if you play her with 1 Fate and then you get hit by the Void Ring, or you run into like meditations on the Dow or anything like that, you're in big trouble.
For sure, that's such a huge Fate investment.
Oh wow, we're seeing a Meek Informant here.
Yes, so Largeness is playing Meek Informant. She's playing all 10 of his conflict character spots. He's playing 1 Adept, 3 Kachiko, 1 Cunning Magistrate, 3 Meek Informants, and 2 Yojimbos. He's also playing 3 Atomo Courtiers in his list.
3 Atomo Courtiers?
Yeah, 3 Atomo Courtiers. And he's gone to 1 Plagiarist.
Alright, I gotta check out this list. This sounds...
Yeah, do you want a link?
Orthodox. Is that?
I said, do you want the link?
Yeah, if you have it, that'd be great.
Yeah, I have them both pulled up. I'll just ship you both of them.
So let's see here. Yeah, the Atomo Courtier is...
I mean, it is another cheap courtier, right? Like...
Yeah, I guess it's just trying to get more slots.
Did you? I didn't see this in the conflict deck. This Scorpion player is playing 3 Mono no Awares.
That's interesting. I've heard about this being used as like a special tactic before.
So he's playing. He's also playing 3 Fate Worse Than Deaths instead of the customary 2 that I see. Playing 3 Assassinations and 2 calling and down on calling in favors.
He has 2 let goes as well, so he's not.
Yeah, that's fair.
Down.
Yeah, I guess when you're on Dragon Slash, the calling in favors aren't as important.
Personally, I don't like splashing for Let Go and Scorpion just because I feel like Calling in Favors is good enough. I like putting in Tattooed Wanderers if possible, kind of an upgrade to some of these conflict characters.
I can see that. I would agree with that. The thing is, he's playing these 10 conflict characters, including the Meek informants, but no Miyako. So that kind of strikes me as odd.
Yeah, that is interesting. And 3 City of Lies. I guess with those very expensive events, it makes sense. He's got 3 Furies, 3 Monos, and 3 Fate Worse Than Death. Though still, that's 3 support. Oh, I guess he has 2 Calling in Favors.
Alright, give me one sec, Shiratai. I can adjust these settings. Apparently my mic volume.
Your mic volume's bad.
Yeah, I'm like trying to get feedback here. Alright, how's this, dude? Answer in Twitch chat or on Discord. I'm looking at both. Alright, so let's see. We got Cautious Scout went in, hit Pilgrimage, which is probably the. Oh wait, does Cautious Scout blank Pilgrimage's text too?
Yeah, Cautious Scout blanks everything.
That is just sick. This guy is. We were just talking about it the other night. Like, he is really good now.
Yeah, Cautious Scout is kind of a rags to riches story. When the game first came out in Corset, I think he was very weak, especially in comparison to other stuff. Like, I would run neutral Imperials over him. The provinces at that time were just not all that dangerous. But things have extremely changed in that respect, and Cautious Scout is now a standout card in my opinion.
Alright, one sec. Better, I guess, but it seems you. Oh, okay. There we go. Alright, cool. Yeah, I just increased your volume too. Alright, cool. Got the settings going. Alright, hopefully everyone can enjoy the game now. Oh, we have 11 viewers? That's so many.
We're now seeing that Kachiko.
Yeah, for sure.
Looks like he's going a little risky with 1 Fate on.
Well, he could challenge Void, right? Like, he could just challenge Void.
Yeah, he can challenge Void. I guess this deck doesn't have any of the tricks that will mess with that. In some decks, there's a risk of being like.
Wow, he goes only with Kachiko and not the Meek Informant to protect against court games.
Interesting.
I mean, he could have edicts and stuff, but like, you can just take the risk out right by.
Oh, it looks like he may be.
He must have double. Yeah, he must have double clicked the ring, which is one annoying part of this interface. Where if you click the ring too many times, it switches the conflict type and it'll bring dash characters out.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, and it looks like from the chat that's indeed what he's saying.
Yeah. That happens a lot with Skirmisher.
Yeah, I've had that happen to me as well.
Alright, yeah, so he does go for Void here to protect his Kachiko, which is smart, because he also knows that he's not going to run into Meditations. So he's going to give the Crane more money. It was incredible how much money the Crane deck generates now.
It does look to me as if he will likely not be playing mono. That's the one thing that Kachiko 1 Fate signals here.
For sure.
Though mono would be slightly dubious in this situation. I guess it would knock 2 Fate off. That's not terrible.
Well, to knock 2 Fate off, draw a card. That's like a minus. It's -1 Fate investment, but it also kills 2 honored characters.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. Well,
the thing is, it's very possible that it's unsafe to play something like that into 3 honored characters. Though I think he's seen his hand, so he'll know if Voice of Honor is present.
The Scorpion player knows that the Crane player has a stand your ground, so the Crane player can save an honored character if he wants.
Interesting.
So Minto's hand, real quick, was court games. Another debate. He does have the voice. He has 2 voices.
Oh, okay.
He just played. He played his 1 for shame. He's got a second court games, stand your ground, admit defeat, the Legion of 1, outwit. Oh wow, he's got 3rd court games and third voice of honor. So yeah, nothing is resolving right now.
All right, looks like the informant got bowed out. The stronghold and
then the 4 shame on the Kachiko.
Got bowed by a 1st shame. Okay.
She did send the politician home and bowed. Here's another meek informant revealing his hand again. Nothing has changed.
Really wants that void ring.
I think he wants it off the table, right? Because if he doesn't,
Yeah.
if no one claims, then the Crane player can attack with it.
If not for the fact that he had another meek informant, it would be an error to send the politician back. Better to let him take the ring than reverse it.
Oh yeah, that's true. And he knows that the Crane player has nothing to interact with this.
Yep.
So that's why he also plays one fate on the meek informant. What's your opinion on that? Like, do you ever play skirmisher with one fate, like just to have a character last around?
I do sometimes, but not frequently. I mean, quite frankly, my view is that Meek Informant is an obsolete card, and that once Policy Debate came out, Meek Informant wasn't really worth a slot. But interestingly, we're seeing here a deck that's running no Policy Debates and 3 Informants. The Informant does trigger more reliably than the Policy Debate, but it doesn't let you take their card. I suspect that that's just because this deck is very committed to the conflict character plan. And we'll see how that pans out.
Yeah, I mean the decks that I've seen Meek Informant in have been running what's it called? Miyako, right? Because like you play all these one cost conflict characters just to trigger Miyako over and over again.
Yeah, Miyako can be a real pain sometimes. In a big game, she is not that impactful, but in a game that ends up being tight on honor, her ability really matters a lot.
Tight on honor. Well, games that become tight on honor also become tight on cards because everyone starts low bidding.
Yeah, exactly right. So then, all of a sudden, one way or another, you're going to be taking a hit, and with little honor and cards to spare, that ends up being quite powerful.
So Minto runs into meditations with a no, this politician did have fate on it, so loses a fate, but ends up destroying it. Discards the actress, uses the firing to dishonor the Kachiko. So
and he did not have noble sacrifice, I believe.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah, he did not have it. If he had it, that would be something else.
That would be well. Now. So you have because all his honor guys are gonna die. I was gonna say you could noble sack, but like, do you even try and bait out the discard of the dupes first and then noble sack? But he doesn't. He won't have any honor guys remaining. He could stand your ground one of these savvy politicians. Because he has he still I think has 3 court games in his hand.
Yeah, stand on Savvy is pretty reasonable because that means 2 honored characters next turn.
Yeah.
That's by no means a bad play.
And he does have he does have and then he can discard the one in his dynasty to get a more impactful card.
Looks like Brash Samurai didn't do much that round, but it's okay.
So yeah, so Crane is on 3 Yoshi, no Hotaru. He has 2 Doji Gift Givers, which I have not seen in a while.
I do think right now Scorpion has a bit of an advantage. Crane is slightly up on honor. Equal hand size. Crane's going to be a lot up on honor once these honored guys leave play.
Oh, he saves the cautious scout. So he's gonna leave the politician and play on his row then, right?
Yeah, he'll just play that one. That makes sense. Put more fate on her. So yeah, right now, Scorpion is up 2 cards, down 3 honor, way less fate, but the board is a lot stronger for Scorp right now, and he has those 2 Kachiko dupes in hand.
Correct.
So if I were the Scorp player, probably what I would do is accept that the Crane is going to pass before me this turn, use those Kachiko dupe, and hopefully build up a really overwhelming board. Interestingly, Crane discards Daidoji Nirishima, which could be strong in this situation with all this fate.
Yeah, kind of like a lion situation where you just start flipping, right? Without staging ground.
Because I think he has... he could play Savvy Politician and Kaizen and Nirishima and use Nirishima and then maybe play another thing, which would be a good way to get out from under this bad board situation.
Well, Kaizen's pretty good against Kachiko, because if you honor Kaizen, you can get him to, and like, he doesn't have any fans in this deck.
Yeah, he doesn't have any fans. He does have the card game Savvy Politician combo for 2 honors, so that's pretty good.
He plays Gift Giver. Okay. I am not a huge fan of this card. What is your opinion on this card?
When I play Dragon, I feel like Gift Giver can sometimes mess with my plan a lot if I only have one character going into the situation. Wow, SirLargeness passes.
SirLargeness passes and does not.
Dupe.
Yeah, wow.
That is wild.
That is a very potent misplay.
It's possible that he's okay. So he's saying, "LOL, I'm bad" in the chat, which I think indicates this is a misplay.
Yeah.
But it's possible that one would try to do this on purpose to try to get an undishonored Hataru out later, but I think that's very much not worth it.
Well, you could so here are your options for this play. So this line can lead to either playing a non-dishonored Kachiko, or this could lead to a mono no Aware turn.
Yeah, that's true. I do think that was. Well, even if you were playing mono, though, you could use both dupes, go up to 2, and then still have her in the next turn after clearing the 1 fate opponent guys. Man, that's tough. I think that's going to be a significant mistake. I suspect it's just the drop bear gotta pass first instinct.
Yeah, for sure, right? He's like he saw his opportunity to grab the fate, and he's like, I can't give it up.
Passing first is important, but it is
in this situation when both players
thing.
are like 5+ fate. Passing first loses a lot of equity. Like the equity in passing first in a lot of the situation is because both players are like on 1 or 0 fate, and the denial of fate for them and the gain for you is so high.
Interesting point.
Right, like so if you have 0 fate and you get 1, and your opponent also has 0 and they get 0, it's a 100% increase in fate, right? Whereas if it's 5 and 6 or whatever, it's the percentage of increase of fate is a lot lower, so it's not as impactful.
There's that mono.
So he does have it. Okay, I mean, so he kind of salvages this turn, right? Like where he kind of messed up. Like he still gets to clear the board.
Yeah, clearing the board's not terrible. He'll have a young rumor monger, but if he had used those 2 Kachiko dupes and he had a Kachiko left over after this, that would be a lot happier of a situation.
He will end up with 13 fate, so he can just go again and do another Kachiko turn where he plays 1 character and passes.
Yeah, that's. No.
City of Lies with mono is pretty sick. So he ended up going fate. He ended up going fate neutral on that mono then.
Yeah, City of Lies is a strong card.
So he went fate neutral on that card, and it replaced itself. So that's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, I can't say too much negative about that.
So, yeah, so he's on with this build. SirLargeness is on 3 City of Lies. 3 City of Lies, 2 hideaways, 2 favorable grounds, and 3 storehouses.
City of Lies is an interesting card. You know, I think at first a lot of people were thinking it was great. Then as the core set meta developed, we sort of came to this conclusion that City actually wasn't very strong at all. But I think that as there are more expensive events that you really want in your deck, there's much more of an argument for City of Lies coming back in, as we're seeing here.
What do you like? If you just want to explain real quick, like what the thought process on? Because if you say it started out in favor, like what you want to give an explanation of why you think it
think
dropped?
Early on, people were like, fate is the main bottleneck. City of Lies is great because it helps you with fate. And in a certain sense, that's true, but it turned out that in the core set, a lot of the cards that people were playing ended up being 0 cost anyway.
Sure, so you didn't really get a lot of effectiveness out of it because there was just not that many events that actually got reduced.
Yeah, like I think cards like Route and Outwit proved to be a lot weaker than many people had been thinking. So we end up looking at like, okay, what cards are you going to play?
So
that are going to benefit from City of Lies. It's like calling in favors and I Can Swim, but I Can Swim itself proved a lot less reliable than people were hoping.
We got a policy debate here.
But yeah, policy debate is a very strong card.
And so, triple a fate worse than or no, sorry, a double a fate worse than death.
He's also got 2 unassuming Yojimbos and a Cunning Magistrate, 2 charges. Charge is going to be totally dead this turn.
Way of the Scorpion. The calling in favors and the let goes are just gonna rot in his hand. Honestly, if Minto has drawn a Kakita blade, he should just never play it.
Yeah, he should just not play it. It'll get stolen.
It'll get stolen or let go.
It'll be negative either way. In fact, if he has 3 Kakita blades and Largeness has 2 let goes and favors in hand, he should just never play it.
Yeah, correct. He should actually never play any of his attachments this game based on his hand, because he's already gonna go card neutral. Even if Minto has all 3 in his hand, he's gonna go card neutral, where both players have 3 dead cards.
Now I will point out that it looks like the honor situation has now swung in the Scorpion's favor.
So Minto bid 3, or I think Minto bid
Yeah,
on
Minto
draw,
bid 3 into 1 for that policy debate.
and then he also bid 5 into 4 on the draw. So that's 3 honor right there. And I think he got one stolen from him before.
Yeah, that's a four swing in honor.
So Crane can kind of dig themselves out of scenarios like this because of their characters becoming honored so quickly.
Yeah, though in this situation, I don't know that going for the fire ring is great because
2 fate on air.
Largeness has, yeah, I would have gone air, get the money, get the other thing is Largeness has young rumor monger. So
That's true.
So I don't think that's going to be a card. I think that in a situation where you can get the honor your savvy politician and honor your gift giver, that's kind of tight. But that's not the situation that we're in. And I think the 2 fate on the air ring would have been very valuable for Minto at this phase.
Do you think he's trying to do this to then get on the political conflict, court games his politician? Like, you think he's just trying to, because like he could just go for he'll go for fire, and then if he wins, he'll try it on the politician. Then Scorpion uses rumor monger, and then you go with the court games. Like, it's pretty convoluted, but I mean that might be.
Yeah, I just think I think 2 fate on a ring is just worth so much.
Also, with the honor situation, the air ring is actually not irrelevant, right? Like you.
Yeah, I mean, I would take 2 fate from the air ring, take 2 fate, and then
put myself to 8 honor.
Win the conflict.
Yeah, for sure.
Is he going to assassinate the rumor monger?
Have we seen his hand? Oh, we haven't seen his hand since he's drawn. He could definitely assassinate the rumor monger. I think he's playing 2 or 3.
He has 2 assassinations in the deck. That would go into really deep into the danger zone on when it comes to his honor.
I think if you're challenging air, assassinating the rumor monger is where you want to be.
Yeah, I agree with that. That would be a sick play. But that Meek Informant is really going to not do anything against the Crane Stronghold in this situation.
Yeah, maybe playing the Meek Informant with 1 was just loose. Maybe he's just was going to use it to protect Kachiko from court games again, but she got fire ringed anyway.
Yeah. I don't think that Meek Informant is a bad card per se. I just think that Policy Debate is amazing.
Yeah, I agree.
I think, I don't know. It could also be a deck space thing though, where you both want to have a lot of characters and a bunch of other tricks, and you don't have room. But
having more conflict characters is also strong with mono.
I would send in the Tattooed Wanderer for that. I think Tattooed Wanderer is a really core card.
I would agree with that. I like having a 2/1. A 2/1 can challenge a military stronger. Like, you just need a katana. Oh, he's not playing any weapons, actually, is he? Yeah, the Scorpion player's not playing any weapons. Or any attachments, sorry.
That's interesting, you know. I think it's a possible move to get around attachment control, but it does mean that you have trouble just getting numbers. Additionally, I think that
especially when 3 of your characters don't have really province-breaking strength, right?
Playing Calling in Favors when you don't have any attachments also re-enables their attachment control, so that's a little extra factor to consider.
That's true. I'm also looking at this list, and it looks like the Scorpion player doesn't have any bonsais either.
This is a very unorthodox Scorpion list. He does not have bonsai. He does not have fan katana. He does not have Cloud the Mind. He's going heavy on Fate Worse Than Death, heavy on mono, and he doesn't have I Can Swim. So I Can Swim, I think, is actually kind of a bad card. I think people have figured out how to play around it, but
sure.
I also think that you kind of have to run it 1x, just like Assassination, if you're going to be in a tournament with open deck list. Because if I see a Scorpion player that doesn't have I Can Swim, I can do so many things that would be unsafe in the normal matchup.
It's kind of like a Crane player not playing Noble Sack, right? Like, if you see your Crane opponent doesn't have Noble Sack, you don't have to fear anything.
Yeah, like, so the main impact that I Can Swim has, at least for me, is that it greatly changes the equation with respect to dueling. There are a lot of situations where you might want to duel with an unsafely high number to prevent them from using the duel to enable I Can Swim.
So you see a 4 shame after. So Cautious Scout gets bonsai'd real quick, just to commentate on the game. So Cautious Scout gets bonsai'd, going up to 6. Then he gets, or 7 actually, because of favor. Gets 4 shamed to be dishonored. He could have moved that dishonor status to the politician. if he wanted to, because then he wouldn't have been able to honor it.
It looks like no, politician is honored instead of becomes honored, so I think it works going from dishonored to normal.
Really?
I believe that's the ruling, but I'm not sure. Let me look.
No,
it
after
up.
this character
And then
is
we see the cunning magistrate. That
Yeah.
was a little unlucky for Minto. He had seen. Oh, I guess there was still that way of the scorpion, which could have been used for the dishonor.
for sure. Yeah, this makes him play the magistrate basically.
For shame is the card that Largeness drew from the Earth Ring. So
Oh,
it's the
wow.
one card that Minto did not know about.
So he was basically gonna say if you're gonna cunning magistrate, you have to weigh the scorpion, which is a lot more impactful.
Yep. So it looks like, Cunning Magistrate's an interesting card. In some respects, it's an anti-synergistic card, but in other situations, it can be great. Like right here, this is like the textbook use of Cunning Magistrate.
I found cunning magistrate to be a very strong defensive card.
Yeah. One thing that it has that is really nice is that it works in either type of conflict, which the other magistrates generally don't.
Yeah, because it can work on attack and defense, which I think
Okay.
only. Is there another magistrate that does that?
Oh, here we're seeing the. I think maybe the other Scorpion Magistrate works on attack and defense.
Oh, the UGEA, that guy.
Yeah, though he also has some anti-synergy with the Scorp game plan. It's interesting.
Oh, okay. So he's just sending in the meek informant to pick up the money and get bowed.
Yep. I think no question Crane would be in a stronger position having taken that money because
he didn't even win the ring, right? So like that's a pretty big
didn't
blow.
Win the ring. If he had win the ring, the rumor monger would have jacked him up, and now Scorp is getting a bunch of money in a deck that wants to play Kachiko next turn.
Yeah,
so.
and we know he has 2 in his hand because he didn't play it. So I mean, I think Largest salvaged this turn pretty well for that misplay in Dynasty phase.
Yeah, though yeah, it's going pretty well. I mean, basically this attack, he's gonna get bowed out. I guess if he really cares about the ring, he could send in. Does he have a? Yeah, he could send in an unassuming Yojimbo in this situation.
I think he has an Adept of Shadows, or unless they got discarded. He has an Adept also.
Oh yeah, so the Adept much better than the unassuming in this situation. Yeah, so this is maybe Minto defends with Savvy and goes for the. It's gonna be annoying.
It's contesting air too, so like it, and then he's gonna lose an honor for this Cautious Scout. I mean, he's getting pretty dangerously low. There's a way of the Scorpion for a dishonor. So he does defend with the Politician.
Yeah, this is. Ironically, Gift Giver can. Gift Giver's not a good card.
I mean, yeah, Gift Giver can't attack into Kachiko here, so he's just gonna have to pass his conflict.
He can't attack into Kachiko to make the favor situation. What the?
Oh.
Oh, I see. That makes sense.
So he's gonna political rival past Kachiko.
Yep.
And we know that SirLargeness doesn't have any way to deal with this rival, so he's just gonna rival and break Shameful.
Yeah, rival will go into Shameful. Then Largeness could play one of his conflict characters to defend Shameful, but it will get bowed out by the Crane Stronghold.
Well, he could force the bow here by playing an Adept. So like it's a very fate negative play.
I think he only really has fate to play one of his conflict characters unless he wants to go to 0. Though again,
Well, he could go to 1 and go Adept.
Oh yeah, play the Adept twice. That's not.
It's not good, but I mean, like, it depends on how badly he values Shameful, right? I think you just let Shameful break. So Minto probably does political void, breaking Shameful, right? Like that's what I see.
Yeah, that's what I think. Or if he really wants the favor, he could political water and bow Kachiko. But I don't think the favor is going to be worth that much.
So Largeness plays the court games, dishonoring the politician. This is turning out really poorly for Minto. He's getting really low on honor.
Yeah, so young rumormonger doing work here. Redirects the honor. The question is he going to use...
So he honors the Cautious
Stronghold? He is going to use the Stronghold. That probably means that he can't get this break.
No, now he can play Adept here if he wants.
No, I mean Crane can't get the return break if Scorpion plays a conflict character to
I don't
defend.
think he'll get the break, but I think he'll get the. I think he'll get a. No, he can. He can send in the gift giver.
Yes, I was just gonna say that Scorpion send in with the gift giver. The gift giver would get dishonored. No, the gift giver would get dishonored by Shameful though and go down to 4. And then.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that unless Crane has some more tricks, I think he using the stronghold here may concede the break on Shameful. One thing I will say is that Adept of Shadows is not a very efficient card. You know, if you're making your opponent play Adept, usually that is going to be harmful to the Fate situation. But again, because Largeness was able to get that 2 Fate from the Air Ring, that's a decision that he can make much more freely. I really do think it was a substantial mistake for Kakita Minto not to go for Air with his first attack.
With that first attack, right? Because there was 2 rings that had 2 Fate, and Largeness has gotten to take both of them.
Yeah, that's 4 Fate. That's a huge number, and you know we'll see though. You know this game is by no means over.
It looks like Minto wasn't even thinking of the rumor monger. So this could explain the fire ring choice also.
Oh yeah. So yeah, if you don't know that rumor monger is, I would still go for the Fate even so, just because that's a swing of 4.
For real, yeah, I'm with you.
But I think the not knowing about the rumor monger, that fire ring makes a lot more sense because he could honor the politician and the gift giver or whatever.
Yeah,
it looks like Largeness is pulling the adept back, so now we're gonna see. Probably it won't be possible for Minto to break Shameful. Ah man, that's a rough swing of events for Minto.
So what is let's see. So Largeness says that Meditation's broken, Pilgrimage Shameful. So his last province is an air or a secret cache, I think.
Yeah, it'll be secret cache.
It's secret cache, and then he has entrenched position under his stronghold.
Yeah, I personally prefer Rally under the stronghold, but entrenched is not a bad card.
Oh, one other matchup thing. So Minto has Frostbitten Crossing as one of his air provinces, which is
that will do absolutely nothing.
Yeah, is a literal dead card in this matchup for both players because there's no.
Unless he can bait. It's stupid. He could conceivably bait out favors.
Sure, but like if you're attacking Frostbitten Crossing, you can just use Let Go instead.
Oh yeah, I mean, so this is like really janky. I don't think he'll do this, but he could. If it looks like the correct move for the opponent is to attack Frostbitten Crossing, he could try to get the opponent to use favors in an earlier conflict instead of Let Go to make him down the Fate and Dishonor, and then not get the attachment. But I think that's a little janky.
That's a little loose, I would say.
Okay, so now we're indeed seeing the gift giver and the rival going in.
We've seen his hand.
Largeness passes.
So Largeness is gonna let the break happen. I think he wants the Fate for Kachiko, right? Like I think he doesn't. I think he just wants to have more Fate because he has double Fate worse than Death in hand too.
Yeah.
I mean, you could also Fate worse than Death of the rival here, and to stop a break. Oh, he only has 3 Fate. Never mind.
Yeah. All right, so he loses his Atoma Core. I would, well, yeah, I think he's going for the Kachiko next turn. I think that's the best way to read this situation.
The thing is, Largeness doesn't have any buffs in his deck, so he can't actually win any conflicts other than the printed strength of his characters.
Yeah, not having buffs in your deck is a roguish move to say the least.
It's really interesting because, sorry, my dog came up to me. It's really funny because normally when you're in a conflict, you are basically running numbers. Like, if my opponent plays this, can I still win? So on and so forth. Like, do I have more buffs than him? And against Largeness, if you're attacking him and your guy's bigger than his guy, you're just gonna win.
It looks here like Minto says that he forgot to court games.
Oh, to court games to... Oh, just to honor his guy? That way
I guess probably the move there would be to honor the political rival in order to enable voice for a while.
You do that, or if you wanted to just not go down to 3 honor, you could honor your gift giver.
The one thing is though, without I Can Swim, Minto does not have to worry about low bidding being a suicide, so he can bid 1 next turn and not care very much.
I think Scorpion might also start going to 1 here.
Yeah, I could see it. I think that Scorpion right now is ahead on cards, even on Fate, significantly ahead on Honor. but they are 0 breaks to 2.
I do think Scorpion's gonna go for a dishonor victory as opposed to a stronghold break. It's so hard to stronghold break when you don't have any buffs. Like,
Yeah,
it's just
I
so.
think
Oh,
this is
Shoju is one character that can do it. Shoju can break a province every turn he attacks.
yeah. This is kind of going back again. You know, Kachiko is a reasonable breaking power as well. Minto plays guest and then immediately passes.
So he wants to deny. So largeness goes to 7, so he's gonna go for Kachiko.
Yep. Shisora Actress will be very strong in this situation. A lot of people are on 2 Shisora Actress, but I play 3 just because she can be mad value in a lot of cases. And right here, we're seeing a situation where she's going to be really strong. What do you think about Frostbitten Crossing?
So I don't think Frostbitten Crossing is very good. I don't think it's reliable enough. I was talking to Shooterev about it, and it's just not. He was basically saying it's not always on. That's the problem, is that you can't control when somebody goes to it, and once somebody goes to it, and if they don't break it, they're just not going to go to there with attachments.
Yeah, so the problem that I have with it is, like, I could see it as a tech card to improve the Dragon matchup, which is normally pretty bad. But even against Dragon, it's like, oh, they had Pathfinder's Blade. Oh, they attacked it with Doom Shigenjas or whatever.
Yeah, or they just sent in a Yokuniya military with no attachments. It's just like.
For some time, I thought it might be a tight card to have actually as your stronghold.
Oh, sure.
But the existence of Pathfinder's Blade makes it so that even in the dream where someone's attacking your stronghold and they have like the Niten Master with a bunch of things or whatever, they might well have the answer that makes it so that the tech card doesn't do anything. And if not for Pathfinder's Blade, I would quite consider it. But if not for Pathfinder's Blade, I'm not sure Dragon would be a thing that you should be so afraid of anyway. Okay, Rival's going for the air ring, going against Pilgrimage. That's okay. He doesn't want to give the opponent a search 5. That seems pretty reasonable.
So
and Rival immediately gets hit by Fate Worse Than Death.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it's.
Kachiko this turn.
I think that's fine, right? Because he can go for Asami with the Actress, and he can pressure Dishonor even more.
Yeah, the Actress is a very strong card to have in this situation. A question becomes whether Minto has a conflict character. Oh, but a conflict character doesn't matter. Ready for battle on the Rival.
So he readies just to use it on defense then.
Yeah, though with his text blocked blanked by Fate Worse Than Death, it's only 3 stats on defense instead of 6.
6. It can help him not get Asami'd.
Yeah, with this few number of characters, just having an extra guy at all might be helpful. Okay, we're seeing the double attack against. I think repeatedly going into Manicured Garden is usually not what you want.
But I think in this situation, it's actually what. Well, he could.
No. I mean, take a look at this. What are the other 2 provinces?
So that's what I'm saying. I'm gonna agree with you. I think he should be scouting. So he can hit Frostbitten or he can hit Meditations, either of which are better than running into Manicured.
Yeah, exactly right. Unless rallies in provinces, which I think is unlikely. And so neither of those provinces do anything. I guess Frostbitten gives him 1 fate anyway, but
sure, but then it gives you a province to just attack for the rest of the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is what this Dishonor deck wants to do, right? Like, I mean, if you're trying to dishonor someone, you don't want them to gain any incremental advantage from their provinces. You can just attack a blank province over and over again.
Yeah, I think trying to find and farm the Frostbitten Crossing would be a good move for this Scorp. Okay, so we are seeing a defense. It's a military conflict, but we're seeing the Guest of Honor come out to defend anyway. And, without any attachments in his deck, Guest of Honor means that he can't play the charges that he's holding on to.
Yeah, and so I think he was going to try and charge Shoju.
Yeah.
So he's just, I mean, all Minto has to do is play a single military buff. Not a blade.
The other thing is, Shisora Actress can, in this situation, trade in for Nourishma.
Oh, to flip.
And then, I mean, the flip will probably not do anything, but
It could flip into Doji Gift Giver also.
Legion of One on Guest of Honor. Wow.
The so actress here could flip into Gift Giver.
Of One. So one thing that Largeness could do is take Kakita Kaizen, lose the duel on purpose to run away, and then have a standing character.
Well, what about this line? You flip into Gift Giver and then you just bow the Guest of Honor.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty annoying thing.
Especially after double Legion of One.
Yeah, you won't get the break, but you don't need. Oh,
okay, he took your line.
Yeah, so Minto can stand there. I'm surprised at. I guess double Legion for one is necessary in order to guarantee.
So if he Legion of Ones for only with no kicker, what'll happen is if he pulls Kaizen, he can just win the conflict.
Right. Yeah, and he really does not want the air loss.
That's why I'm surprised. I guess he's trying to run away to get another attack, because he can't play Kachiko this turn. But the thing is, the Crane player doesn't have another combat this turn.
At least one thing that Largeness can at least do is run away and then attack into the water ring just to get fate.
I guess. I think I like the Gift Giver line better to 100% get the air ring.
Yeah, I think that that does seem stronger to me as well.
That gets you the air ring 100%, and the Crane player has no combat this turn. You're gonna get first player next turn, so you get to go for the 2 fate water ring if you want it.
And Crane is gonna lose another fate from the political rival.
Yeah, so they would go to 1 honor if he had Gift Givered here. So like this leaves the Crane player a chance to win.
Yeah, the Gift Giver play would have been stronger.
Because it's like his other line was to go for Asami to seal a fate, right? And if he runs away, is he actually going to attack past this political rival even with 3 defense? I guess he has favor.
He does have an unassuming Yojimbo, who interestingly can covert past the political rival because political rival is blanked.
Maybe he wanted to go for a different ring first, so on his second attack he could do an unopposed air.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a duel. 1-1.
So he sends Kaizen home.
Yeah, so we're seeing that. That's going to be a pretty strong.
Oh yeah, Click is saying. Someone in chat is saying that the Crane player could have another ready for battle to stop my Gift Giver line. Which is very reasonable. I mean, he's drawn more than half of his deck. I wouldn't, if someone has a 2 of, I would not be surprised for them to draw them both.
City of Lies for the cost reduction. I wonder.
Oh, he has another fate worse than death.
Mono here, a second fate worse than death. That would be amazing.
Well, I think if he was gonna play the second fate worse than death, he would have done it in conflict to. Oh, he can't do it to the Guest of Honor.
The Guest of Honor.
Yeah,
Guest of Honor is. I don't actually like Guest of Honor very much, but in this situation, it's really strong.
Well, when my opponent's playing 30 events and no attachments.
Yeah, exactly right. That's why I don't like it. Also, it's like, what is a matchup that Crane struggles with? It's Dragon, and Dragon does not have very many events.
I mean, also just a lot of decks have started to go into pretty attachment heavy. Like Crab is very attachment heavy. Almost as attachment heavy as Dragon, if not. Like I've seen some lists that have more attachments.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm against running.
Guest of Honor feels like a 2 of card, where in some matchups it's very strong. Like I think in the mirror match, and I think versus Lion, and I think versus Scorpion, it's very strong.
Largeness passes his conflict. Minto.
So
Minto. What?
Why did Largeness pass his conflict? Did he not realize he had favor? Oh, you know what? I bet you he didn't realize the political rival didn't have 6 defense.
Yeah, or that he didn't realize the political rival didn't have covert, because he actually could have Yojimbo'd and snuck in.
And put him down to 1. He could have gone for fire too and dishonored the Guest of Honor to threaten.
Yeah, and then he would be then Minto would be going into this turn with 1 honor left and a dishonored character with no fate, which is a really dangerous spot to be in.
And Largeness gets
Especially-
first attack, so he could play Kachiko and just go for air.
Yeah. So I think that might have been. On the other hand, that's a little bit all in. If it gets prevented somehow, it ends up being quite negative.
Wow,
Oh,
flipping
man,
Yoshi?
Yoshi.
Oh coming
Yoshi coming out just in time. I think the Crane player is actually quite losing right now.
I would agree.
But Kakita Yoshi might be just what he needs to make a comeback. I don't even like Kakita Yoshi, but in this situation, he is what you want, especially. Now, the one thing I will say is that he's going to have to use that ability defensively, because I believe Largeness has another Fate Worse Than Death.
He does indeed have another Fate Worse Than Death.
And so, obviously, if you can Fate Worse Than Death Kakita Yoshi in this situation, that's absolute value. He completely wants to do it if he can.
So
But-
the Crane player needs to honor a character. If the Crane player can honor a character, he has 3 Voice of Honors in his hand.
Cautious Scout coming out as well.
Yeah, he's not played a single Voice of Honor, so he has 3 in his hand. He really needs a character to be honored.
Yeah, one way or another, he's got to honor somebody. And Largeness is going for the Drop Bears kind of null deployment strategy here. So that means he has the option to use Kachiko, he has the option to use Unassuming, he has the option to use Fate Worse Than Death. Looks like Unassuming is the option that he's taking at this phase. Does he have 2 Unassumings? Is he going to play both of them?
I think he had 2. Yeah, I think we commented that he had 2.
If he can sneak in. The other thing to note, so here's a play that I think is reckless. He could play both Unassumings, use his City of Lies, and get Unassuming,
And
make
Fate
2
Worse Than Death.
coverts and a Fate Worse Than Death.
And just go for air, right? He also has
Yeah,
he also
and
has
hope to get
Black
an
Null
opposed.
Artist.
Man, all the cards in this game that reveal your opponent's hand make this so much more interesting. Okay, going for Manicured Gardens again.
Huh.
I really, really think that's bad.
Yeah, I just think I think if you find a farmable province, like, it's just way better than giving your opponent a fate every single turn.
No doubt. And he's going for the Water Ring. Oh, Water Ring for the 2 fate on it, and then hopefully he can bow out the Brash Samurai and prevent the activation that would give a free.
I think the. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I've been told, in Fantasy Flight games, you're not allowed to write your opponent's hand down like you can in Magic.
That's correct.
So,
But in this, that's basically not a real rule in this format, because you can go up and look at the log and see what was revealed.
I'm of the opinion that is better, because once you have known information, basically you shouldn't be rewarded because you have a better memory than somebody.
I agree. I think memory isn't part of the game, or if it is, it shouldn't be. I know some people who have like memory issues where it makes the game unnecessarily hard, and it also makes the game take longer, because if you're spending a bunch of time trying to, come up with some acronym or whatever, or
just
phrase that's
yeah,
gonna let you
exactly.
remember it, that's going to be. I do understand that it's kind of it can be kind of oppressive to have someone write down all the cards in your hand and just cross off the ones that you use as you play them, but like.
I don't know.
I don't
Every
like
single
to see
competitive
these-
card game I've ever played has. So this is my first Fantasy Flight game. I'm a Magic veteran. I've played Magic for a very long time, and I've played pretty much any card game I could. So like every card game I've played, you've been able to do that.
Okay, so we see. Yeah, I personally think they should change the floor rules. I think you should be able to write down whatever you want. I think the game is just better that way, but, obviously FGOP disagrees. Okay, we're seeing a defense with both Guest of Honor and Yoshi, and
So he Yoshi's. So this way protects his Yoshi from a fate worse than death.
the one thing that I think he may not have realized is that with Yoshi and Guest of Honor, he was exactly winning by 1, but when he used Yoshi's ability to discard the favor, it's now even.
He cannot Legion of One. He cannot Kakita Blade.
He can Kakita Blade.
It's gonna get let go.
Not with Guest of Honor.
Oh, so he could just do it for a one-time conflict win?
Yeah, and that's a little bad, but it would give him the win here, and I do think he really wants this ring. I would.
He does not want his Brash Samurai to get bowed, pretty much.
Yeah, Brash Samurai getting bowed is really harsh because Brash Samurai will enable that Voice of Honor, which he very much wants.
Well, the Scorpion player could first action Fate Worse Than Death the Brash Samurai just to dishonor it and blanket, so that way then that would guarantee him losing an honor from that.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, no doubt.
So the real question is, did he find
Banzai.
Okay, so he found Banzai, but did he find a Way of the Crane? Finds Way of the Crane to honor Yoshi, this game turns around, I think.
Okay, so he's only seen one. Okay, we're now seeing the Adaptive Shadows coming in, so it does look like Largeness is contesting this fight.
So, Minto has played all three of his Banzais, actually.
He's played 3 Banzais and 1 Legion, is that right?
Well, he cannot play. Yeah, he's played 1 Legion, but he can't play another Legion because it's
right.
It's a single participating character.
If he has the Kakita blade, I might use it here. Of course, what he really wants is Way of the Crane on Yoshi, but I suspect that he hasn't found it. He's gone down to 12 cards, and there's that Kakita blade. You know, it's a jank situation. Does he have 3 policy debates?
Let me check.
Yeah, he does. Playing a 3rd policy debate right now would be super hype. Because not only would he dominate the debate, he would get an honor from the Kakita blade. That would be excellent.
Oh, that would be sick. Yeah, he unfortunately doesn't have it, so it just passes. The Adept jumps back into hand.
I actually think Kakita blade is a really good card. I know a lot of people don't agree
so
with me on that.
it could be worse. I totally understand that it could take longer to write down. Obviously, like, you know, these games have had 15 cards in your hand. Like, if you want to give somebody a set amount of time to write down someone's hand, that's very reasonable. Like, I would just then write down the more important cards or whatever.
If it's a close game though, right now I'll totally sit there and just like look at someone's hand and try to memorize all the cards, and that takes longer than it would to write them down.
Yeah, also like that's what I'm saying. Like, I think people are overstating how long it takes to write down someone's hand. If you're writing quickly, you can definitely write down a lot of cards.
We should make a tournament for this, like an online tournament or something that just has like the most competitive floor rules we can come up with in terms of like, you know, note taking is de facto allowed because it's online, but we'll like emphasize on the rules that it's allowed, and we'll do 2 out of 3s, and they'll have sideboarding.
That would be sick. I think sideboarding brings a whole different. Especially, I think it's not feasible in paper because of the way the LCG model, where you would need so many sets to basically swap, or it would take a long time to swap out your splash, basically.
I think sideboarding. I think a very simple. Oh wow!
So the Cautious Scout gets hit with a Fate Worse Than Death.
Yeah. So if I were Minto, I would have not done an attack here. I think it is unsafe to attack in this situation. I would have just sat there.
I think Minto's dead. I think Minto's young Harrier. Oh yeah, so Minto's not playing any he's not playing any Steward of Laws. He's playing.
Oh, but no, this is stupid. Why did he do that? That's really stupid. It doesn't do anything. Oh, he's attacking into Pilgrimage. Yeah. His Cautious Scout isn't alone.
That
and he doesn't have another Banzai.
Oh no, he wants to claim the ring.
Oh, Legion of 1.
He wants to claim the ring so that he can't get air ringed. But I think he's dead, actually.
I think he's lost. I think he has, unless he has something. He doesn't have Katana in his deck, so he doesn't have a thing that's going to get him up to the 5 that he needs to clear that Pilgrimage. He should have attacked the Cautious Scout into the City of Lies, because that's going to be, that ability is on reveal, so it will get blocked, and if he has to put a character in, then the ring is still live. So I think
that's
he's
true.
Lost the game with that error.
Yeah, it looks like Minto has realized his mistakes.
Is it possible for him to save himself somehow? I don't think so. I think he's lost.
So all Largeness has to do is pass his conflict, right? Or no, then
no, there is a Brash can come in.
So he needs a way to gain an honor. Oh no, he'll live.
This situation needed to not attack, or to attack into the secret cache with his Cautious Scout, because the Cautious Scout would block the cache completely. However, I think the move is to not attack, because if he stands there and doesn't attack, then Largeness has to either not attack himself or let the Brash Samurai go off and enable Voice of Honor, which will shut down these problems for when Minto does want to attack. Yeah, because I think the dream here is to pass. Largeness has to either not attack or
Well, Largeness
enable
can attack.
Samurai.
So if Largeness attacks, he enables Brash Samurai, which will save.
Right.
Because the Crane player can defend with Brash Samurai plus
Oh,
Stronghold.
though Largeness does have another unassuming Yojimbo, I believe, which he could bring out, and I think it actually would be good to bring it out.
Maybe
here, but it
maybe
looks
we're
like,
maybe we're missing something and he doesn't have it because he's just refusing to play it.
I think we saw earlier that he had 2 in hand. He might just be trying to kind of conserve altitude here, but I think when your opponent's like this desperate on honor, you have to go for the throat.
Well, I mean, it's not even considering anything. I think it's just a straight win, right? Like if you play Yojimbo here, you get an unopposed, and there's 2 dishonored characters in
Unopposed
play.
fire, yeah. I mean, I think you just win.
Yeah, unopposed fire, you dishonor, any character that's gonna die, and then that's.
Yeah, and if you send the blackmail artist in too, you get the steal and honor. So I think that does in fact just win. So that's a bit. Oh wow. Okay.
So he's gonna go for secret cache now. So
Yeah,
again,
that's-
your line was definitely superior in this whole turn.
Yeah, I do think that Minto has maybe cracked under pressure a bit with this situation. It can be very hard to play with this low honor. And unfortunately, I do think he's not going to get out of it, though it's possible. He's got a fire ring. He could. So he would love to fire ring his Yoshi, but that's not possible.
Oh, Largeness drew another wave of the Scorpion.
That was okay. So now Brash honors himself. He needs to.
I think he has court games. I think he has a court game
Yeah,
still.
court games is good here. He still has the Crane Stronghold. Largeness has the option to play that Adaptive Shadows again, though.
One thing we have not seen out of Largeness is a single Forged Edict. And he does have a Courtier.
Yep. I think this is not going to pan out for Minto, especially with no fans in your deck.
There's a 4 shame to dishonor.
Yeah. So then he's got
There's
the
the
court
court
games, but it
games.
doesn't actually honor him. Largeness passes. Minto can use his Stronghold, but Largeness can play the Adept. And I
Yeah.
think that will be the win for Largeness, but we'll see. It's possible one of them messes up. Or it's also possible. Does Minto have any other cards that are relevant? He might be like
He has
Ultra
8.
Saving Way of the Crane as a troll. I doubt it though.
That can't possibly be right. Like, I would like to give players more of the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, I mean it's not impossible, but I think Adept will win this conflict, and that will be the game
I
because
agree.
Minto will dishonor out.
Yeah, so the prediction was right. It looks like Largeness had no intention of breaking. I think his strategy of poking at Manicure Garden over and over again was slightly suboptimal, but
Yeah,
in the end it worked
I
out.
think one big swing point in this game, I think, was when Minto attacked with that fire ring instead of the air ring.
Correct.
That gave Largeness a lot of fate that he was able to use to create a big advantage, and we're now seeing them both kind of running out of fate. So Minto only has one, Largeness only has one. If Minto had that 2 fate instead of Largeness, he would now be at 3. Largeness would be at -1, which would have meant that he couldn't have played one of his things. The situation would be much more optimal.
For real, and also that Largeness I think got the airing on that turn.
Yep. So I think we're gonna see Minto dishonor out here, and that's gonna be the game. This has been quite an interesting game, with 2 pretty unorthodox decks fighting one another here, and it looks like dishonor is gonna take it. I still must say, Ornate Fan is a card that you want to have in your deck, man. Like.
I think Fantana is too strong to drop right now. I just think you need stat boosts.
Yeah, stat boosts are good.
Like, think about it this way: if he has a fan costing 0 fate and being an attachment has the same effect as an Adaptive Shadows, right? It's 2 strength into a conflict.
Yep, and it costs 0. Looks like, yeah, Minto passes, so now, Blackmail Artist will steal a fate, and then he'll lose 2 fate from his characters going out, and that's gonna be the game. Or, Blackmail Artist steals an honor, my mistake. And yep, we're seeing Minto concede, that's it. Scorpion takes the game in a unusual but quite interesting match.
I'm gonna. Someone suggested that we interview the winners.
Oh,
So
that's a good idea.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
ask
let's do it.
SirLargeness. We get to be a little harsh and and ask him why he kept I'm gonna ask him why he kept attacking Manicure Garden.
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't know.
I'm just gonna ask him. I mean, like
No, I mean,
he
that's fine. I mean, I do think
it's not
an objective mistake.
Yeah, he's not I mean he won.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna add him to this call and go ahead. Let's see here.
Yeah, let's do the post game interview.
Post game interview for sure.
I want to ask him some questions about his deck strategy because I think this is a really interesting deck.
I think it's pretty cool, right? Like I mean, it's very different.
Those monos.
Let me figure out what his Discord name is.
Oh, one other thing I'll say.
What's up?
Minto made a big mistake by not taking that air ring.
Yeah.
But Largeness made a big mistake by not using his Kachiko duplicates. So I think both people made like very substantial mistakes in the mid game.
That's true. But yeah, because he actually just never played Kachiko for the entire game. After that one.
I don't think that Minto threw away the game completely. I think that the situation, I think he did go from a probably advantaged situation to a probably disadvantaged one with that, but Largeness had himself made a very major mistake earlier that kind of evened the odds a bit.
I'm trying to find SirLargeness on Discord. I cannot seem to find him.
Minto is saying in the post-game chat, if only I didn't forget to court games my rival. And I have to agree, I think that having that rival...
For his, yeah.
Because that rival then got hit by Fate Worse Than Death, and having the Voice of Honor up to negate that Fate Worse Than Death would have been great. On the other hand, well, I don't know, there's a lot of things. I think that Soci Illusionist would have been a strong card for SirLargeness to play. That's often a very difficult card for... Because Minto was clearly desperately looking for ways to honor his guys, and if the first honor effect that you get just gets knocked off by the illusionist, that's brutal. Now, unfortunately for Minto, he wasn't able to pull the honor effect, or rather, he only got that court games, which he wasn't able to use to maximum effectiveness. But yeah.
One sec, I'm just trying to find... if anyone would like to help me, I cannot find...
Are you trying to
Oh, there we go. We found him. Alright.
Great, let's do that interview.
Yeah, I'm gonna add him real quick.
Also, apologies to any viewers if our digressions and discussions of abstract strategy and deck building and so on are not quite what you want from the stream. I don't know what people's preference is in terms of general topics versus specific play-by-play, but feel free to let us know if you would prefer a more focused cast.
Alright, let's add SirLargeness in here and get an interview. Accept. I'm just gonna call him, and then I think I'll add you.
Great.
Hello? Oh, excellent. All right, cool.
Howdy, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can. I can see you too.
Cool.
We were just well, first thing, congratulations on your victory. It was a really interesting game. We were watching it and we were just like, as the game went on, we were just like, I'm pretty sure we're just gonna get a dishonor victory here. Was that your goal from the beginning?
Not really. Like, so the deck is really interesting that I'm playing with. I'm attempting to break Mono no Aware with some levels of success.
Yeah, we noticed that your deck was very interesting.
Yeah, like I do a whole lot of passing during the Dynasty phase. A lot of the times what you're looking to do is just sort of go for a control victory. So if that's Dishonor, it's Dishonor, but really it's just during the late game you hope to have depleted your opponent's resources with Fate Worse Than Death and Mono no Aware, and then you like slam down a Kachiko with 3 Fate and start going to town. So
Yeah, Kachiko shows you are really your breakers, right? Because you don't have any buffs in your deck. We kept noting that on conflicts, your character strength is literally what you got.
Yeah, there's, it is very what you see, what you get. Except for, if you have a bunch of Fate, you can drop some guys into play, stuff like that. So
Yeah, he has card games.
Yeah, I do have core games. That's true.
That's true.
But no bonsais, no attachments. In fact, I did have Cloud in there, but I ended up just biting the bullet and saying that Fate Worse Than Death is kind of like Cloud, and I just wanted to have no attachments so I could have some dead cards in my opponent's decks that directly deal with attachments.
Yeah, that makes sense. Especially the only downside for Fate Worse Than Death over Cloud, in my view, is that there are a few cards that don't go into the conflict but have really strong abilities.
Oh, and it doesn't stop Guest of Honor for shit either. So
yeah, Guest of Honor really put a wrench in your plans of this game. It definitely felt like it slowed you down a bit.
Yeah, Crane is definitely the hardest matchup for this deck because of how it wants to play. There's probably a fun middle ground that you can play with, that maybe doesn't have Mono Aware but still wants to control the game very heavily with like Policy Debate and Fate Worse Than Death. I really wanted to try Mono Aware out and see how far I could get with it. So I don't know. Whenever me conform into my opponent's hand and I immediately saw the 3 Voices of Honor, and I didn't draw a single Forged Edict that entire game. I knew that it was going to be a bit of a slog.
I think
to get through.
I think you managed that situation very well in keeping your opponent off honored characters. So like the mono no Aware turn that White hit all of his honored characters off the board. That was, I think, one of the turning points in the game where you could actually start playing
the game.
Yeah, basically. Like I mean, like you're playing a 30 event deck with multiple 3 and 4 cost events. Like you just get ruined by Voice of Honor. So, I mean,
if I can play around it or have my own counter spells, then that's cool. But since I wasn't hitting Forged Edict like at all, I was just starting to like go into like a little mini panic attack. But yeah, we managed to get rid of his characters. He ran into my meditations on the Tau there to get rid of the 1 Fate that was left on the savvy politician, yeah. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And then once the board was cleared from there, and I could use Young Rumor Monger to dictate where honor tokens go, then that really helped me kind of even things out.
That was one. So Kingsley and I think that one of the turning points in this game was the attack he did on the Fire Ring instead of taking the. Do you remember the turn? So there's 2 Fate on the Earth Ring and 2 on the Air Ring. You took Earth Ring on your first attack, and then he did an attack with fire instead of air, and we were just wondering why he I think that was the big turning point because even if he had resolved the Fire Ring, you had Rumor Monger to ruin his plan.
And I think maybe he was just going a little bit too fast, Yeah. I think he definitely would have benefited more from the Fate from there. And then, of course, if he resolves the Air Ring, then that keeps me off of Dishonoring for another turn, probably.
Mm-hmm. He had mentioned in the text that he had forgotten, actually, that Young Rumor Monger had its ability relevant. So I think he maybe thought he could get a double honor off of his Savvy Politician with that attack.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is, like, if you got 3 Voice of Honors just, like, burning a hole in your hand, like, you're, not, I think my opponent played very well, but your mind is just gonna naturally start doing things.
Yeah, you tunnel, right?
Yeah, you're like, I gotta turn these fucking cards on, or else I'm gonna die. I don't know if you guys are doing no cussing.
No, you're good, man. I think for the most part, most people are adults, and they've probably heard worse.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a little interesting, and of course, I made some major misplays. Like I had 2 Kachikos in my hand whenever I passed in the dynasty.
Yeah, that was the one thing we noticed.
It was like sometimes you do silly things when you play online.
Yeah, and then you never actually got to play her again, so it just kind of compounded that.
But like other options just kept presenting themselves as a little bit more beneficial.
Did you have a second Yojimbo in your hand? We thought we saw it.
I did.
So my question is on the final turn, you could play Yojimbo and then just do an unopposed attack through with your Blackmail Artist in it.
Yeah. So what happened there was I clicked I went in done button simulator mode too fast.
Oh, so you just passed through.
And then like I was because he was passing or I can't remember what happened. If he passed his challenge, or if I just wasn't paying attention. But I clicked pass or done too many times.
In your pre-conflict, and so you just went into combat, and you're like, well.
I was in my conflict, and I was like, I didn't play a thing here. So I guess I'll just pass. So that's one of the things. Like, I'm not going to complain about online. Like, this is the best platform that really you could sort of hope to have of the medium that we have. So it is what it is. You have to just be a little bit more meticulous when you're.
Realistically, realistically, in paper, I've also just like. I don't know if you play other games, but like in Magic, I've definitely just like said like pass priority or said go to combat when I didn't mean to. Like, I mean, it definitely happens in paper also, where people will just say pass and be like, why did I do that?
Final though, right? Because like in real life, you can be like pass, wait.
No wait.
If you do that like no wait within like a good solid 2 seconds of your last decision point, it's usually not something that a judge is just gonna bust your balls.
That's fair. That's fair.
Online, it's so much more awkward to go, well, I passed press, but I need to go back and do a thing, and I hope you guys are okay with that. It's just, I'd rather just move on.
Maybe it's because I play Magic Online so much, where also if you pass, it gets passed.
That's true. The nice thing about Magic Online though is that you can actually you can rewind some mana expenditures. Like,
that's true. There is some amount of undo.
Yeah, but not very much.
I think an undo last action button would be great for Jikoku. It would be excellent.
Tip to all the developers watching right now.
Yeah. But no, it was fun. I had a fun game, and I'm glad to get, like, if I can face Crane earlier, like, Crane is definitely the harder matchup of what my deck is trying to do. So if I can face more, like, Scorpion Mirrors and other stuff from here on out, then I'm actually happier.
I got one more question for you. So Kingsley and I noticed that you attacked Manicured Garden for literally this entire game, other than the one attack on Shameful.
Yeah.
What? So because decklists are open, is there a reason that you didn't try and scout out and find Frostbitten Crossing, which it would be the best farmable province for you?
To be perfectly honest, I wasn't looking at the deck list whenever I was playing.
I got you.
That's fair.
That's very understandable. Because I mean, I think the more normal include there is the fertile fields, which would definitely be a lot worse than manicured gardens to hit.
Yeah, so like I was thinking that it was just like fertile or something like that. Like, and I didn't want to go scouting around for the other stuff. If I already had a safe place that I knew I was stacking on, I think.
The remaining two provinces were Frostbitten and Meditations, so those are just two farmable provinces that you wouldn't have been giving a fate. Obviously, it didn't matter in the end. It's just that was just the question we had, was basically if you knew, then maybe not. But obviously, if you didn't look, then that changes it.
Like, Meditation on the Tau isn't like super awesome, but I definitely don't care about Frostbitten Crossing like at all, right?
Yeah, right. You have zero attachments.
That definitely would have been a better choice for me. I think I know that I have deck lists. I think I looked at it at work earlier, but then like I completely forgot. I didn't have it like up here, like on my other screen, like while I was playing, like going, all right, what's going on over here? Although I guess I should for the rest of the games, right?
Yeah, I mean that's why we have open deck lists, right? Like, I mean, it's,
yeah. I guess that's how I would play in a tournament setting, right? Like, is to just like stick what's working with me and then go forward. And if that's even wrong in a tournament, then so be it. But,
that's fair. It looks like.
To your point, yes, Frostbitten would have definitely been far superior.
That's fair. I mean, I definitely don't follow. Like I said, like, do what you have to win. Like, I mean, the way you played the game led to a victory. Like, I have no qualms about that. It looks like your next opponent is either going to be QQ or Action Johnny, a dragon or a crab. Do you have a preference on matchup?
Probably the dragon. Like, there's something about Fate Worse Than Death that, in my opinion, just absolutely wrecks dragon. And I'm running both Let Go and Calling to like get through. I don't know, Fingers of Jade or what have you. Like, I'm really happy with the dragon crab matchup with this deck.
Yeah, that's fair.
Fate Worse Than Death is a big impediment for dragon. It's probably the card I play a lot of dragon, and Fate Worse Than Death is probably the card that I least want to see in my opponent's deck list.
I would agree.
Crab, on the other hand, like, it can just be annoying. Like, the way that I play my deck, so it's you don't value Dynasty very much. Way the Crab isn't super effectual against me, but Reprieves and Iron Mines are definitely really irritating.
Yeah, it kind of ruins your mono no Oware plan, right? Where their characters can just have no fate and just stay around for 4 or 5 turns.
Yeah, like a charged in Kasada sticking around for 4 turns is like a problem, right?
Because you don't have Cloud, and then you're playing all actions basically.
Yeah, you know. But like there are ways around it. Like, I can kill the Reprieves or steal the Reprieves. Stealing a Reprieve is a pretty big tempo gain.
You can edict the rebuilds.
Yeah, like we can we can edict the rebuild, and we can just attack the Iron Mine, right? To
Yeah,
try and
for
get
sure.
rid of it. So there's ways around it, but definitely we're looking for like a Kachiko turn to be able to actually get in there and not get like policy debated, because my guys just have pretty low stats as they are. Like the deck is pretty weird.
Is that why you're not playing policy debate, because you have no buffs? Your characters
Yeah,
don't have.
like, I'd rather just run the 3 Meeks and have them be part of my game plan. And like I really don't need to discard things. I just need to see what's in your hand. What's in there, right? And then that'll help guide me from how I'm actually going to offload these huge actions that I have in my hand. So the Meeks are actually probably one of the most important part of my game.
Did you try Miyako? Because you're playing all these.
Yeah, I had 3 of him in there.
Do you? Oh, originally, okay.
I kept on getting in trouble with Miyako, where like I would see him it keep happening where I'd see like a double of him in the provinces. So it's like I could make an early investment on this guy, and it not be that bad because I've got a second one to just dump extra fate on there. And then for some odd reason, it just always felt like the wrong decision. Like making any kind of early dynasty investment is always wrong with the deck. So like that's just the way it wants to play.
Because
so
you're playing so heavy.
I just
I mean,
removed.
with 10 conflict characters and mono, it makes a lot of sense to try to go late on Dynasty.
I mean, your conflict deck is so expensive. You have 3 4-cost events, 3 3-cost events, and 3 5-cost characters.
Super. Yeah, like I mean that's exactly what it is, And so I actually ended up just taking out the Miyakos and putting in the Otomo Courtiers just for like extra courtier.
We saw that.
In case I needed like Forged Edict fate.
That is fair. Well, oh, go ahead, Kingsley. Did you have another question?
No, I think that's about it.
Yeah, I think that was.
Congratulations on your victory.
Yep, congratulations. We'll see you.
We'll see how far it goes.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see you in the next round. I mean, I would definitely enjoy casting this deck again. So if I get the opportunity, or if Rega gets the opportunity, we can cast this deck again.
Cool.
Yep.
Rock on.
All right, take care, man. Have a nice night.
You too.
Have a good one.
Alright guys, that is going to do it for tonight's stream for this game. I might be back streaming another match. I will need to check my schedule. I gotta cook and do some actual chores. I will be back later. See ya.